How is it that you think that progressive Christianity and those who've deconstructed religion entirely can ally to fight against this new wave of especially the religious right in
Mm.
America?
Yeah, this is really compelling. I've been recently talking to a Satanist, which that's going to get me in trouble. But if anybody knows, like the actual Temple of Satan idea is a bunch of people that are just atheists. They don't believe in a literal devil or a literal God. But their strategy is to kind of use this thing that trolls conservative Christians as a way to show them the flip side of the things that they're advocating for. For instance, putting up 10 commandments out front of a state capitol. Well, they argue, let's put up a Satan statue out there too, because religious pluralism. And then usually the 10 Commandments statue doesn't go up. But the conversation I've been having with this person is that there's so much that we can do together as progressive people of faith and kind of an atheist organization. And there are so many great organizations rising up to try to combat Christian nationalism. I think what we all agree on is that Christian nationalism is not Christian. I don't think the history of it has anything to do with trying to be faithful to Christ or to any sort of theology. It is, from its inception, a political movement meant to secure the power of white, heterosexual, cisgender, conservative people. And they use the guise of Christianity to do that. And I think we have such a rich history of progressive religious leaders in this country that have stood up and started massive movements that have reformed our country from the ground up. MLK Day is coming up. He's a great example of somebody to do that. But that only happened because he was willing to build broad coalitions with people that saw the world differently and were not aligned with his Baptist faith. It's nothing profound to say that we just need to set aside what I think is the downside of liberalism or progressivism in our country, which is we demand our ideological purity and have our own orthodoxies. We need to set that aside and say, what would it look like for the progressive Christian denomination to align with the Temple of Satan and the Freedom from Religion Foundation and form a united front and say, actually, we're more aligned on what we desire for our country than we are different. And Christian nationalism is big enough of a threat that it's time for us to set down all of our differences. And if we want to see democracy and if we want to see Christianity actually survive in any meaningful way in our country, Christian nationalism has to be confronted and defeated as the sham that it is.